All right, welcome back. Crew Call with the Scooters. Today, my very dear friend, somebody that puts up with me all of the time for being late, for canceling. You can dig into me a little bit on that, Paul. And, you know, just for being kind of nutty. And but he loves Courtney more, and that's appropriate. That's always appropriate. So today we are here with Paul.
Do it. It's
I'm
okay.
Screw it up. I always screw up your last name.
Just do it.
No, you do it.
Srinivasan.
Thank you, Srinivasan. And I do. I have like this weird kind of Southern accent that goes along with it. It just does not. And I'm not even.
I could be Southern. I mean, don't I look Southern to you?
You look very Southern.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
So anyhow, so thank you for doing that, because I hate to botch. I hate when people botch my last name or my first name, but I always hate that. Srinivasan. See, I get this weird.
Yes.
I need help.
Okay.
Dialect coach.
I don't know what happens. I get very nervous saying my last name because I don't want to screw it up. Anyhow, hi, how are you?
Hi, good. How are you?
And it was so great because the other day I was running downtown and I texted Bo and I was like, I'm running, or was I my butt? We were running, and I was like, wave from the apartment building, and I just see this hand like outside waving. I was so happy. I couldn't even see your face, but I was just so happy to see your hand. So.
That's all that matters.
I know. So how are you? What's going on?
I'm good. It's like Groundhog's Day.
Yes.
It really absolutely is. So
wake up some days and forget what day it is.
Isn't that the truth? So while you work for a tech company, Sherpa, Pittsburgh-based, right outside of the city, what do you do for Sherpa?
My primary was Sherpa is a software product company, and my primary responsibility is managing the product, the roadmap, the direction, the development, all of that stuff. My background is in development, so I manage the development of the product.
So how has this whole COVID-19 pandemic had affected your company and the people there?
Well, it sent us all scurrying home.
Yeah.
So we're all working from home,
yes.
Which I think we're all very fortunate that we're able to do that and that we're still working. It's going okay. I mean, it is not the same as being in the office and being together. So some things take a little bit longer and collaboration's a little bit harder, but we've tried to do things, you know, using video conference and reluctantly gotten people on camera. We try to do a weekly company meeting with everybody on video. It's gone okay. I mean, we're moving along. I think some things take longer, or it's seemingly taking longer now to get stuff done. But overall, it's, you know, again, I think we're thrilled to be working.
That's good. Oh, sorry.
No, you got.
Has the business changed at all?
So Sherpa's in the business of information governance. So we build products to help companies that have compliance requirements or data security requirements, electronic discovery requirements, those kinds of things to identify, find data, take action on it, enforce policies, that kind of stuff. I mean, that need doesn't go away. So from a company standpoint, there is still activity. I mean, there's definitely been a slowdown. I think not unexpectedly, but from what we're doing and what we're trying to do to help our customers, all of that's happening. Like that, that's still moving along. In a lot of IT departments, we work with a lot of IT teams and companies. A lot of them are still working. So,
have you had to increase communication amongst your clients a lot? Customers, have they been calling or wondering what's going on?
It's half and half. One of our, I don't know if they're have signed on as a customer or we're just getting ready to, but this was a nursing home out west and they got hit. So, we haven't heard from them like that, those are understandable. But then the ones that are active, I think in some ways maybe, because we're a product, in some cases, the use of our product is a little bit of a insurance policy for companies. It's a way for them to make sure they're auditing their, data enforcement needs. Sometimes gets pushed to the back burner if it's not high on the priority list or it's not some of that seems to be moving forward now because I think maybe in some ways they have some time.
Yeah.
And so some of those projects are picking up. And so it's been a mixed bag. We've heard more from some folks and then not as much from others. So
in the whole kind of scheme of the last 2 years with data breaches, I mean, 3 years, 5 years, whatever,
yeah.
but there's so many major data breaches. How does Sherpa kind of help protect companies? Because we've seen the largest companies fall to
Right.
massive data breaches.
Well, and that's part of the business we're not, I wouldn't necessarily classify us as a security company. We're not preventing the breaches, but a lot of what we do is protecting the data that if there was a breach that isn't lost.
Okay.
So, we're the ones that help you identify, things that shouldn't be in places that are, valuable information is not in an insecure location or, laptops are common, especially now, like people working from home, like they're maybe taking things on their local machines that they normally wouldn't if they were in an office. Companies use our stuff to identify those kinds of things and make sure if they are breached that, we can help them make sure data is where it should be and they don't the losses aren't as heavy or at all.
Are people more compromised right now with so many people being on, or like hackers, like, is it like more of a time when you should be worrying about your personal security online?
Personal and also company. I mean, this is the time where again, because people are distributed, your data tends to get distributed now. And so there are, a lot of people obviously trying to take advantage of the situation. I mean, we've definitely seen, even personally from our company, like higher, and you guys probably are too, like phishing attempts and stuff just in general, like people trying to, so yeah, I think vigilance is important. It's not like people don't have enough things to worry about right now, but add that to the mix, but yeah.
Wow.
Do you think customers are becoming not ambivalent to it, but there's so many that happen all the time? It's like, what can really happen if my data is stolen?
Well, sometimes that's what it takes, like going through an incident and losing, and I mean, there's enough publicity that hopefully people are real. And you know what, honestly, in the last couple of years, we've started to see that. I mean, people are, even if they aren't breached, they are aware of the losses of a breach or what that could do to them, reputation and all of that. So there's definitely more of an awareness. Sometimes harder to pull the trigger again, because in some cases, this is not you don't correlate this to a revenue stream. Like if you're more secure, you're not, for most places, you're not going to make more money from that.
Right.
But it's a liability factor there that, and it's not always, sometimes that kind of tends to go by the wayside until something happens, like there's a trigger event. But no, there's definitely a lot more awareness. Just like you said at the start of this, like with all the breaches in the last few years, I mean, I don't think you go a day without at least something, small, maybe a bit. Right.
Yeah, we see it every day. Are you specifically in the healthcare field? Is that who you normally service?
Our biggest customer base is regulated industries. So obviously healthcare is one of them, because those are the ones that have, audit requirements to meet certain guidelines with their data and retention rules and all that kind of stuff. So those tend to be our higher volume of customers.
Oh. There was, I thought there was going to be more there.
I know.
It was like,
I know you said your company is based in Pittsburgh. Is it a national company or is it more local or global?
It's local. We're local. But I mean, we do sell primarily in the US. We do have partners in Europe, but the majority of our customer base is US.
Gosh.
So, Bob, what have you been doing besides working during this time?
Working.
24/7?
A lot. That's one of the downsides. You guys are doing this now too. You're working at home. Like it feels like it never ends. It's hard to end your day.
Yeah.
One thing I realized, Jenny, you run, so you know this. I used to think I'll just get my work done and I'll go for a run in the evening. Well, that day doesn't end. So I constituted a rule now. So I start at 6 a.m. and then I take a break from 7:30 to 9 and I go for a run and take care of my mother, and then I'm back to work and then work.
And that's, I think for me, that's been the hardest thing. Of course, you're probably feeling that too.
Yeah.
Sure, but it's like for us, the end of the day, you're just so exhausted and you have to force yourself to go. In the mornings, our mornings, because we have clients that are overseas, our mornings are taking Zoom calls. So we're on calls at 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning. You're up in China, and it's, it's been hard. I think it's been really hard to put in those boundaries to say, okay, enough. And, it's like, you don't want to say no at the same time, but I feel like if I don't say no, I might fall over.
I know. And someone brought up a good point too. Even like, I mean, my commute's not that long. I don't know, Ball, I don't know if your commute, but even that like time in the car at the beginning of the day and the end of the day, you don't know how much that like does. That 15, 20 minutes just kind of gets you ready or gets you calmed down in a sense. And now it's like, okay, I'm up and I'm in front of the computer.
Right.
It's just,
you can see my bed's right behind me, so I can just roll out, come here. That's it.
Yeah.
Are
you, how are you running more?
I am, because I have that routine. I mean, fortunately I don't have calls with Europe first thing in the morning. So it's for me more to, that's my time. I mean, my team starts around 9:30, whatever. And so from that point on, it's more collaborative. So I have time in the morning to get some of my stuff done. So I take my first hour and a half, and then I take an hour and a half off.
I think
that works. Maybe I'll try and continue that after we're out of this too. But that I found at least that I can do. I have more trouble ending my day. Like I don't have a consistent end.
Yeah. We don't. We haven't gotten good at that at all.
No.
We're trying.
So your mom lives with you, and I'm the most dearest, sweetest, smallest woman I've ever met. And my mom's little. This, and Ball's mom's tinier than my mom, which is, I always say that my mom can hang glide off of a Dorito. So I don't know what Ball's mom can do, but how
potato chip.
Yeah, a potato chip. How's your mom feeling? How is she doing?
She's good. She has followed the governor's rules to a T. She has not stepped out.
Really?
Yeah. Well, she doesn't go out without me, and I'm not taking her out anywhere. And all her doctor's appointments are tele appointments.
Oh, okay. That's good. Yeah. Is she baking? Is she making honey balls?
She doesn't bake. Honey balls. First of all, they're not honey balls, and they're not baked. So
I've heard a lot about these though, so I'm kind of interested.
They're so good. And Ball's like, they're not honey balls, they're cheese. And I'm like, they're honey balls. That's what they're called.
They're not. But okay. No, she hasn't made any of that.
No. It's sad. That's sad for me, really.
Yeah. Well, I couldn't get it to you right now anyway, so it doesn't matter.
We could throw it outside whenever.
Yeah, maybe I'll do that. Just run by.
Yeah, exactly. Long. Pitch it out. That's okay. I'll catch it. I'll totally catch it.
Yeah.
What is you live downtown? How's the building been in terms of like living in a high-rise apartment building?
I talked to the management office before. They kind of, I mean, they're not here. They're not shut, but they're not here. They come in when they for any emergencies or anything that they can't do from home.
Mm-hmm.
They said they'd let us know if anybody in the building got infected. So far, nothing. We have, I think, 215.
Wow.
Something like that, apartments. So, okay. I mean, I do see, a lot of them have dogs, so I see them out in the park, walking the dogs and stuff. But I think generally hardly ever see anybody. I mean, I'm not going anywhere other than to go out for a run. So.
Right.
Is it completely different down there, just even when you're running? Yeah, it
is. I mean, I like right now there's one person in Point State Park, which, any time of day, I don't think I've ever seen that. So it's a little weird. I do see people running and biking, but generally in singles or twos, like no groups of stuff. But yeah, so it's definitely a strange feeling down here.
I would imagine, yeah.
And you were so upset that the Pirates canceled their opening day.
I was actually. I mean, opening day is kind of a cool thing. Like that's a tradition.
It is.
I sent a great photo. I don't even think you responded to my photo at the stadium.
I did.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, and you laughed at my response.
Oh, maybe.
It was like that Snickers commercial with the Cleveland Browns after the Browns moved to Baltimore.
Oh, that's right. You did send that. I do remember now. It's not, I haven't really slept much.
Okay. That's good to know.
Yeah, there's been very little sleep.
Oh.
Oh,
Very little sleep.
yeah,
How's
but
everything else going there? I mean, how is your team? How are the people at work? How's the morale?
good. I mean, I think that I think they're getting sick of it for sure. I mean, there's some level of, and then the ones with little kids like are trying to coordinate.
Yeah.
Both parents working from home with trying to school with the kids and juggling all that. Like that would be hard. I think. I mean, I think it's there's one person in our office every time she's on a video conference, she's in a different room because she's trying to find somewhere where to go do this. Yeah, so there's some of that, but I mean, I think I would say generally though, I think people do feel fortunate that we're all working. Like that we're in a position where we can work and in a industry that is functioning in this environment. So.
I agree with
Yeah,
that.
absolutely.
So you also are a volunteer for 412 Rescue.
Yeah.
Which is a amazing organization.
Yeah, except I had to stop doing it right now because their guidelines was if you're living with somebody that is at risk to not. Which it would have been hard for me to do that on my own, but I was thinking about that because I really can't risk. My mom's 85. Like this thing could kill her. Like it's not. So I've been super cautious and. So I'm bummed about that. Like I'm bummed because they are really swamped. It sounds like they're getting a lot of food, and they're really looking for volunteers. And I feel bad that I'm not able to. But.
No, but you do it. He pulls downtown. He parks illegally.
No, I got legal parking now. I can tell you that.
Yeah. What happened? Yeah, this was really interesting. Well, first of all, can you tell people what? Because I love. Leah, and I love the organization. So can you tell the people out there that might not know what 412 Rescue is?
So 412 Food Rescue is an organization that basically is trying to solve the food problem of some areas having excess food and other areas, not having enough food. So it's not that we don't produce enough food, it's that we have a food distribution problem, and we've tried to solve that. Started in Pittsburgh, but it's now expanded to a bunch of other cities around the country. The idea is they match up people that have food to donate with organizations that have a need for food and depend on volunteers to get the food from the source to the destination. So they have a whole bunch of predefined, scheduled weekly pickups, and I do one of those from it's called a Corner Mercantile. It's like a deli restaurant, and I take it over to a low-income housing facility on the north side on Fridays. They also have kind of ad hoc rescues where somebody, maybe had a party or something and then they have food left over and they kind of connect that. And then they use an app to get the word out and volunteers can sign up for stuff to pick up. So I was doing this downtown and for 3 years, I've been parking illegally to pick up food until I started getting in trouble, I don't know, a couple months ago. And actually, the owner of the Corner Mercantile talked to the building, and they gave me a spot where I can pull in like a delivery bay, and I pull in there now. So that got sorted out, thankfully.
Ball's a baller.
Yeah, you are. Seriously. Parking tips with Ball.
I know, seriously. I think that's well, I love that you do that. I think it's so amazing.
Yeah, no, it's such a great organization. I grew up in India, and food shortage is a huge. I've seen poverty and all of that, and to me it always occurred to me, like you would see like these lavish weddings and people just throw the food away, and like down around the corner people starving, and so when I heard about what Leah was doing, that really kind of struck a chord. Like I like the mission.
That's great.
Leah likes you, so that's nice. That's
good.
Yeah. Well, Ball, thank you. Of course, we went over the 15 minutes, now it's 25. So it was
okay, good.
But it's been so well.
I know. I could talk to you all day.
Yeah.
See your face.
Me too.
A very, very happy day for me.
Well, we can do this after this too at some point.
I would love that. We'll have a cup of coffee so we can really talk.
Okay.
And not that we weren't really talking now. I'm sorry for butchering your last name.
You didn't even try. I mean, you can apologize for butchering.
Go ahead.
No, I don't want to do it. I did do it, and I told you I have this weird Southern accent thing that happens, and it just sounds. I really need to like practice and get it down perfectly.
You already apologized for butchering it, so go ahead.
No, I already did it.
Oh,
Oh, Bo, I love you. Thank you so much.
thank you.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Bye. Thanks.